Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. How are you?
Awesome. Good. Hi, Gemma. How'd you do that to your hair, Gemma? I can't hear you. Gemma's on mute.
It's the sun coming through the window.
That's awesome.
But I dyed my hair blue, but you can't see it.
It looks like you got one of those filters on your hair, you know, when you can
Yeah.
do a video on your body and something. Hi, Martin.
Hello. Hi.
So we did have 13 people register. So here comes Howard.
I sent out an email as well with the link to 444 people accidentally today as well. So let's hope some of they join.
Howard, I thought you couldn't make it. I miss Zooming. Remember when we had to Zoom every day?
Some of us are still Zooming every day, Sarah.
Really? Oh,
yeah, but
God.
to the point where you look at your calendar in the morning and get a preemptive Zoom headache. I'm happy those days are over.
Oh, you poor thing. I haven't Zoomed for months.
Cuts down travel time. It's one positive of it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I think we should do a lot of this over the rest of the campaign, just a weekly catch up with the hardcore crew, so that we can, you know, touch base with each other, exchange ideas, keep in contact. Not everyone can come to the office. So it's just a nice way to stay in touch. And, you know, we've only got 3 months left. And if you take out the 2 weeks of Christmas and New Year's, we've only got 2.5 months left until the election. So we're kind of getting to the crunch end now. So we will get started and the others can just join. I would like to acknowledge that we are on the land of the Whadjuk Noongar people, and I pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging. And this is our very first door knock training session. So thank you all for coming. You'll have to excuse me. I think I've got hay fever. I never get it before, so I'm not really sure, but I feel really gross and drained. So forgive me if my energy is not 100%. What we're going to do today, I'm just going to do this up as a bit more of a sharing session. And as we go, I'm going to provide the tips and tricks that I have learned about door knocking, and most of the door knocking I've done has been for political parties and for my own election campaign when I ran for the town of Bassendean, and because I'm on the local government there, so I did my own door knocking and leafleting. So these are the things that I have learned along the way when it comes to door knocking. And I can tell you, once you start, it can be quite addictive. It can be really energizing. It can be really fun. You do have to pace yourself. Particularly, we're going over the summer months. So it's really smart. If you are going out on your own and doing your door knocking, you do it really, really early in the morning, or you do it later in the evening. Don't, especially in the summer, don't do it in the middle of the day because you will die. You will, and it won't be fun. And you'll be sweaty and gross when you turn up to someone's doorstep. The one good thing about it, though, is that people have a lot of sympathy for you when you knock on the door and they open the door and they go, oh my God, you must be really dedicated to be doing it in this heat. Come in, have a glass of water. Don't go in. But sometimes you can get a lot of sympathy from people because of the heat. But the first thing I would recommend is your hours are really important. If it's a lovely day and you feel like you're up to it, go all day long, that's fine. But I would probably only do it for 2-hour stints and then maybe do 1 hour of leafleting afterwards, just so that you feel like, because you can burn yourself out and it can be quite exhausting because you're going to be saying the same thing over and over and over again. And sometimes the rejection, you might get a bit of rejection. I don't think we're going to get rejection in this campaign. I have, when I was door knocking for the Greens, have had the door slammed in my face and some very, very unpleasant words said, directed at me. But that's only because I opened the door and I'm wearing a shirt that says the Greens. So you just don't take it personally. I don't think that's going to happen with you guys. I think what's going to happen is people are going to be really interested in the conversation. I think the hardest thing you guys are going to have is stopping the conversation, shutting the conversation down, because you could spend your whole 2 hours and you've only spoken to 4 people because you got stuck on the doorstep for 20 minutes each. So you have to be really mindful of your time. So the first trick I would say is pick your time really wisely. Check the weather, pick your time really wisely. If it's really hot, start at 9, finish at 11, or go from 4 to 6. So that's check the weather, check your time. The other thing, I'm just going to write these down because we're going to write this up and put it on the website so you can take it and print it off and take it with you. And are you writing this down too, Ed? If it's hot.
Yeah, I'm writing it all down, and it's also going to be recorded. So yeah. I don't think you need to worry too much about. Yeah.
Okay, good. So Saturdays and Sundays are the best days to door knock. Now's a really good time because kids' sports have finished mostly, unless you're doing cricket. And most people will be home on a Saturday and Sunday. Doesn't mean you can't door knock on a weekday. If you're feeling really energized and it's Thursday night and the weather's really nice and you're like, oh, you know what? I'm going to go and get 10 signatures tonight. Just go and do it. It's fine. You just, there's no hard and fast rules. It's just, common sense tells you that there's going to be more people home on a Saturday or a Sunday. There'll be lots of Christmas parties. So you might get lucky and you get a house with a Christmas party and then you can get 20 signatures at once. That might be fun and have a drink. So that's the other trick is Saturdays and Sundays, but do it when you feel good because, and this is the other really important thing, don't go door knocking if you're not in the mood because the people who open the door will pick up on your energy and your vibe, right? And if you're not feeling it, they will not be feeling it either. And you'll be wasting your time, you'll drain your energy. Do it when you are feeling really good. So even if you've organised for a crew of people to meet you down at the park and you're not feeling the best, go and meet your crew and then say, look, I'm not feeling really well. I'm going to go home and let them go and do it because the last thing you want is for people to be opening the door and having a conversation with you and you're just feeling gross. So it's not fun for you and it's not fun for them. So that's really important. When you go to the front fence, some really clever tricks that other people have used is to whistle, because once you whistle, the dog will bark. right? So then you know that there's a dog in the yard. If you're like me and you don't like dogs, don't go in. If you like dog people and you're confident with dogs, that's your choice. You make that choice based on how you feel and how confident you feel about dogs. So one of the tricks I use is I'll rattle the gate, I'll go, and if there's no dog bark, I go in. I always, if there is no dog, I always leave the gate open. Sometimes I go door knocking on my own, and sometimes if it's, there is one time I went door knocking and there were two guys and they were very big, and I just stayed in the driveway. And so the thing is, if I'm going on my own, and this is just a personal safety thing, I'll always leave the gate open behind me so that I'm not stuck, because you just don't ever know. And this is not, I'm not saying this will happen, I'm just saying it's a risk management trick. That's why I always recommend that people go in at least pairs. But when I door knocked for my own council election, it was fine. It's a safe neighbourhood. People are usually really lovely. I always went during the day and always told my partner where I was going to go, what area I was going to be in. So that's just one thing I do when I'm going in the gate. So you get to the door and don't ring the bell 7,000 times. Someone might be sleeping, the baby might be sleeping. So ring once. If no one comes within 2 minutes, you go to the next door. So that's a time management thing as well. So you don't want to waste your time banging and knocking on the door thinking that someone's home. Just ring once or knock once, 2 minutes or 1 minute, you'll decide, but no more than 2 minutes, and you go to the next door. So that's really important. And then the door opens, and that's really exciting. So what I think we'll do, we'll write a script for you. So for the first couple of times that you do it, you'll get the hang of it really quickly. The things we're going to be asking, the really easy thing we're going to be asking people to do is sign the petition, right? So what I would say is, hi, I'm Sarah. I'm working on a mental health campaign called Prevent, Support, Heal, and the campaign is aimed at increasing funding into community mental health services. Would you like to sign the petition? So you've put your ask up you've said your name, you said what you're about, and you've given them an ask within the first 30 seconds, right? This is also a time management thing, so that the person will either go, oh, no, thanks, or, okay, tell me more about it. And that's when you go into the long spiel. That's when you go into the, so we've started an election campaign, and we're asking the government to increase funding into community support, because we know that if people are supported in the community, they're less likely to need hospital. But if they do go to hospital, then it's a safe landing place. And we know that community support is more person-centered. And that's when you can get into your messaging and your speaking and that kind of stuff. Door knocking is the most effective way of having a conversation with someone. The next most effective way is on the phone. And I know you guys have Gemma and Martin, and I don't know, and Howard. Who else has done any phone banking? Aiden, remind me who's here.
Evie has as well.
Yeah, awesome.
But yeah, shout out to Gemma, Martin, Howard, Evie. You're doing an amazing job at phone banking. I think Gemma's made something like 395 calls or something. I don't know. I have a poster up in the office with the stats, but
oh my God,
everyone's doing amazing.
Board. That's amazing, Gemma. Good on you. So
Martin's climbing up the charts as well.
Yeah, and it's not that dissimilar to phone banking, right? it's the same conversation. The difference is you get the energy from the person, you know, you can see their face, you have a conversation with them, and they can read your facial cues. So there's the physical, emotional side that you get when you're door knocking. And so when I'm door knocking, people can see my face and they can see I'm real and they can see that I believe in what I'm talking about. And they go, oh my God, that's amazing. And, you know, there's some, when I was doing my council election, by the end of it, some people were like shaking my hand and wanting to hug me because they believed in everything I was saying. And then, then by the end of it, they're like, all right, I'm voting for you. And that's awesome. So then if you fit, so then there's a scale that we use in political campaign door knocking. And it goes from a hard no to a soft no to a on the fence to a soft yes to a hard yes. So you understand the scale? Hard no, soft no, on the fence, soft yes, hard yes. Within the first minute, you should be able to work out where this person is, right? If it's a hard no, it's no. It's pretty obvious, right? So you go, okay, thanks for your time. And you go to the next one, right? Really quick, just rip it off like a Band-Aid. Don't stand there and go try and convince this person, because you're just wasting their time and you're wasting your time. And you need to get to someone that's a soft yes or a hard yes. So no problem. A soft no is someone that will probably say something like, oh, I'm a bit busy right now. Can you come back later? And you're like, no, I can't come back later, but can I just tell you that this is a campaign for mental health. We're kind of just asking people to sign a petition, and they go, I'm not really interested, right? So that's a soft no. So they kind of haven't said no outright because they're just trying to be polite, but what they're trying to get at is a no. So you can just open the door and give them another opportunity and let them say no, right? People on the fence, in political campaigning, if someone's on the fence, these are the people that we're always trying to shift. These are the people that we're always kind of saying, well, if you don't know, can I just take 5 minutes of your time and turn you into a yes? So these are the people who you probably will spend the most amount of time with, because these are the people that you're trying to convince. And in political campaigning, they'll either be someone that'll go, I've never voted before, I'm 18 years old, tell me. I've heard of, I remember in one political campaign, I heard a lot of, oh, I know who Pauline Hanson is. Do you work for that party? So they don't even know that Pauline Hanson isn't even a Green, right? So that's how disengaged they are from the political process. So you have to be very patient and you don't go, no, fucking Pauline's not in the Greens, are you an idiot? Don't do that. You go, no. So that would be One Nation. We are the Greens and our policies are. And then you go into the policies of, you know, all of the things. I'm not going to talk about them because then I'll convince you all to vote Green. So I think in this context, the people on the fence are, well, I don't really know anything about mental health, but, you know, I've got a few friends who've, you know, had a mental health challenge, and you go, okay, well, we know that in Western Australia, only 1 in 5 people can get access to proper mental health care. And they go, oh, really? Yeah. And we know that it costs $1,600 a day for someone to go to hospital. But at the moment, our system is geared to drive people to the hospital land of mental health care. Oh my God, that's terrible. We've got a solution for that. We think that people should be able to access community support because it's better value for money. It's a better recovery. It's better for you as the taxpayer. And all we're really asking you to do today is sign a petition. Would you be able to do that? Yeah. Or nah. So you can't, you know they're on the fence because they're like, I don't really know anything about it. Tell me. at least they're asking the question. At least they're asking a question about. So that's when you're answering it. Soft yes is yeah. I guess I'm really into it. I've got a lot of friends who are in this space, but I don't really know about your campaign. Can you tell me a bit more about it? I'll sign your petition, but I'm not really sure if I want to do anything else. Well, if you could, and if you do have the time, could you sign up to the campaign? Here's an iPad, or get your phone out and you can do it now, and I can walk you through the process, because what we really want people to do is talk to their local MPs. What we're trying to do is get to the government in the context of the state election to say, we need to reform the system. We need to balance the system. So it's really awesome that you've already agreed to signing the petition, but would you do another thing for me? Would you write to your local member of parliament? It's really easy. You just have to sign up on the website. You've done all this through the phone banking, so you guys know. It's really, really simple, really simple. Hard yes is, oh my God, I know who you guys are. Where do I sign? Right? Well, you sign here and you sign up here and you write your letter to your MP and they go, wicked. And they just do it. And that is the funnest and most addictive part of it, because within the first 10 seconds, you know if a person's onto it. They'll probably have seen something on the news. They might have seen something on Facebook already. They've been meaning to do it, but they haven't already. So that's your scale. So we'll write this out for you so that you can remember how to do it, and then that's it. And it's really good so mapping, that's the last thing we'll talk about, is when you've done your door knocking, and I always like to do just like an hour or half an hour after that, just a bit of leafleting. You're out anyway. You got your shoes on anyway. You got a babysitter anyway. You might as well just do that little bit extra, right? So I always just do a little bit of leafleting at the ends. It's just quick. You're getting more people, and it's just there anyway. So mapping. So if you're going to do your own mapping, that's awesome. Just let us know so that we can highlight it on the map, and Aidan's taking charge of that. Or just take a screenshot on your phone and text it to us or email it to us. It's really, really simple. I would recommend just going to your maps, and you can take a screenshot. So, maybe I have to get this up on screen. You can see the screen, you can see the map, right? Take a screenshot, open it. Down the bottom, you get these markers. Can you see the markers here? And just roughly draw out your map, text it to Aidan or email it to me. And that way we can log where you've been, or you can log where you've been. All that does is mean that, he's working on it. All that means is that we can keep track of where you've been. So that's really, really easy. Right, so now that I've talked forever, are there any other tips or tricks that people, who has done door knocking before? Martin, you've done it for the Labor Party. Leela has, awesome. I'll just let Aidan walk through this so that this is a bit of an easy process.
Yeah, so I'll show you on my phone, so it's a bit easier. So say if I walk around here, because I don't think anyone could see it on Sarah's phone because it was a bit glary, but what you can do is you just press the side buttons on your phone. It'll take a screenshot. You click down there and you can just select the pen and just like that. And then, yeah, done, save to photos, and yeah, send it through to us. So really simple.
Now, are there any other tips and tricks people have that I didn't talk about, that I don't know about? Leila?
I've never heard it explained in such a scientific way. So when I went out, probably I think it was with the Yarragadee campaign to stop the Yarragadee aquifer tapping back in 2004.
Wow.
No one trained me in such a systemic way of understanding. There's almost a science to door knocking. I suppose, you know, I feel like this campaign will actually be easier than any other campaign I've ever worked on, because I've been collecting signatures at my five-a-side, my community sport space, and there is universal support. So I suppose what I've noticed is that when you talk about mental health, when you say, we want to see more funding in prevention, so people don't need to go to hospital as much. That's when I see they've got it, you know, straight away. They're like, prevention, keep people out of hospital. I just have not had one person say, no, I don't want to, you know, get online, like support a campaign for preventing mental and emotional distress.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really easy. It's really awesome, isn't it?
Well, I haven't had that many people refuse. I've had a couple that haven't wanted to put their address on. And I had one woman wanted more information. She wanted to check into it. And I thought, well, you're being a bit of a, you know what, but I just let it go. As for door knocking, I haven't done door knocking since I was a Boy Scout doing Bob a Job. That was a long time ago.
Doing what?
Bob's for Jobs. They used to have a campaign. When I was a kid, the Boy Scouts
Bob's for Jobs.
They used to call it Bob a Job. Then they had to change it to Bob's for Jobs.
Oh, yeah.
So you get around and did odd jobs and got paid for it.
Oh, good. Oh, yeah.
That was their fundraising thing.
Yeah.
And you know, I was one of the most successful at it, actually.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But I'm just a little bit concerned, given that I live in Lisa Harvey's electorate. She's on side anyway.
Doesn't matter.
So you don't think it matters?
This isn't just about getting to your MP. This is about getting people engaged with the campaign.
Fair enough.
Right? And collecting petition signatures. So you can say Lisa Harvey is the new mental health spokesperson, and so you know in your messaging we've got a meeting with her next week now that she's the new mental health spokesperson, and we are working with the Liberal Party on their mental health election commitments. So what would be really helpful is if you could pick up the phone or send her an email about your experience with the mental health system and how that and what you might say, something that could be the thing that ticks her over and going, all right, this is what we need. This is the thing that we need to get done. And so, yeah, it's actually a bit more important that it's Lisa's seat. She is on board.
Okay.
Yeah, but they haven't written their policies yet. So this is the time when we get the voters to say, what are you doing about mental health this election? Because I've got an idea. I've got a story. I've got this amazing idea called a warm line. Would you fund a warm line? What's a warm line? Well, and you, Howard, could go and talk to all the voters in her electorate about a warm line. And if they get 50 phone calls from people going, I've heard about this amazing idea called a warm line, and she's going to go, we better fund this warm line, you know? So that will make part of the election commitments.
I didn't go into that so much yesterday. It's just the fact that she virtually committed to reading Chelsea's report.
Yeah.
She said she was going to read it. And she said she was going to be ringing Taryn. Well, it hasn't taken, I don't know who rang who, but the meeting's set up. She sounded genuinely, though, she was interested in something she wanted to do, something that meant something to her. So I don't think there was an issue about that. And I suspect that I'll be seeing her again. So, so there's what I did. Yes, I didn't complain about the fact that it didn't turn up to the thingamajig or anything like that. I didn't even bother. I completely forgot about it. It was more about that, hey, we've got a person here who's interested. don't stuff it up, but it didn't even feel like that. It just flowed. So one of the most successful meetings I've ever had with a politician in my life.
Yeah, well done.
But it wasn't hard.
Yeah, I know. It's awesome. Really, really great. Anyone else been door knocking?
Can I ask you a question, Sarah? Hi, I'm Julie Millard and I'm from Sydney, and I'm involved in a national door knocking project for Community Mental Health Australia.
Wow.
So hence why we're listening in, and Nina and myself are listening in on getting all your handy hints. We did do some piloting last week and have done piloting about a month ago in a couple of areas of New South Wales. My two questions to you were around safety, because I thought I heard you say that you sometimes door knock alone. So we're recommending that people only go in pairs as a minimum. But my other question was around COVID-19, of course.
Yeah, we're going to, hold on. We're going to have some people who are going to knock on doors and go, I'm not feeling safe. There are no guidelines around door knocking. So here's my 5-year-old with his very loud iPad. Darling, I'm on a Zoom. I'll be back in a sec.
That's become the greatest.
Remember those days?
I'm on a Zoom. Stop making noise. Yeah.
Poor kid. There are no guidelines that I know of at the moment that are telling people that we can't door knock. I know all of the political parties here in Western Australia, because as you guys probably don't know, we've got a state election in 3 months. They are all door knocking. The Liberal Party's door knocking, the Labor Party's door knocking, everybody is door knocking. So I think it would depend on each state's restrictions. But here in Western Australia, we don't have any restrictions around door knocking. We haven't had community transmission in Western Australia for more than 6 months. So it's amazing. I think everyone forgets.
And your borders, haven't you, to us New South Wales Welsh people?
Say that again?
Haven't you just opened up your borders?
That's right. Yeah, yesterday or today? Yesterday.
Yeah, sorry about that. Hopefully nobody's coming over from the eastern states.
So I would recommend you contacting or going onto your Department of Health website.
Oh, we've got no restrictions.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah. I mean, where there's been community transmission, obviously there's a restriction, but nowhere else. And so door knocking alone, are you saying that you don't mind that people door knock alone, or would you prefer they work in pairs?
I always prefer people work in pairs.
Yeah.
Always. I wouldn't do it if I didn't feel safe.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I do it in my local neighbourhood because I know the people around here. I'm a local government councillor, and most of the people I door knock I already know. But I would never do it at night alone. I wouldn't even do it at night in pairs. And I don't know if you heard me before, but I always leave the gate open if I'm in broad daylight and I'm doing it. And I'd only go for an hour or two. I don't go all day. I mean,
and so we're doing most of what you said, and our hours we said are between 9 and 6, no later than 6 p.m. And Saturdays and Sundays. But we also found in the trial we did in Western Sydney, Saturdays weren't so good because people were either at sports or church.
Yeah, and so the summer's a bit different because most of the sports finished. But, you don't want to door knock people when they're having dinner, right? So that's another thing. And Sunday morning's a funny one because you get a lot of people that are hungover.
Yeah.
So sometimes that works because they just go, yeah, whatever, I'll sign whatever, just go away. But, then there are other people that just, they see how keen you are. People love getting door knocks. Some people just love it, particularly if you're a local government councillor or a local member of parliament and they get door knocked by their local member of parliament. They go, that's amazing. And then you've shifted them, right? I think this campaign, we're going to have 100% strike rate with people. I really do.
Sarah, just some clarity. Are we actually going to be taking a hard copy to get signatures?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Leila, did you have a question?
Yeah, I just wanted to make a comment on safety. Like, I think starting in your own neighborhood, if you have a safe neighborhood, then you know it feels good to be out in your neighborhood. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to meet more of the people. We've just brought our first home in this neighborhood, so it'll be a great opportunity. I'll take it down the dog park where everybody, you know, runs their dog at that time of day. But then I was also thinking that, you know, some of those community events, I'm wondering what the goal is if I wanted to take some to the South Fremantle markets. You know, you could just imagine how much support you would have in one place there.
Yeah, I would say do it. It's public space. It's so there's no restrictions around you not being able to walk up and down the markets and collect signatures. It's what I just wrote earlier, actually, and I was going to talk about at the end. So public spaces, you're more than welcome to walk around. But if it's a private event like the Royal Show or something,
Or a wedding.
Yeah, you'd have to get permission. So that's a really easy rule of thumb. Public space, easy. I also am a bit of on the rebel side, and you know, I just start doing it until someone tells me not to. So
it's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission in some instances.
But you're not breaking any laws because you're in a public space, right? But if someone comes up to you, except in the middle of the city, that's a bit of a tricky one.
Can't do anything in the middle of the city.
Yeah, I know. But you know what? Sometimes if you tracked it, like if it's Rotary, go to the Rotary tent and say, hey, I've got a petition. Do you mind if I walk around and collect signatures? Here's what it's about. 9 times out of 10, that person will say yes. And they'll go, oh, leave one here. We'll collect signatures for you, right? Now, the other thing I was going to talk about is businesses and high streets. So really easy thing to do on a Saturday afternoon is just walk down your high street, go into a business. Hi, my name's Sarah, running this campaign. I'm collecting signatures. Do you mind if I walk around and ask people to sign our petition? Yes, no, easy. Would I be able to leave a petition here and come and collect it in 2 weeks' time? Yes, no, easy. That could say you could do 20, 30 businesses in an hour. Super easy, super easy. And you will collect heaps of petition signatures in an hour because it's more concentrated and there's more people, obviously. So that just makes more sense.
As well, I think it's worth noting that I wouldn't really bother with large kind of businesses, like larger chain businesses, because usually they're not going to put a petition up. Like you wouldn't go to your Coles or Woolworths or Bunnings or something like that. Like smaller businesses are more likely to allow you to, deliver the petition or get petition signatures.
Yeah.
I did go to the Wanneroo show the other week, and I asked if I could collect signatures. And he said, yes, as long as you do it only in your tent. I don't want you going around canvassing people. But I did go around to the blue team and the red team anyway, and a couple of members of the blue team asked me to bring back some forms so they could get them put them out through their network. So it's going to be interesting when I go back to him to see whether he got any signed.
Who was it?
That was Paul Miles.
Oh, yeah.
From what I hear from him, I'm not going to rely on him, but
do you want to ring him, or do you want me to ring him and follow up?
But do you know him?
No.
I've got his card. I just haven't got around to ringing him.
Okay, give him a ring. He's trying to win Wanneroo back.
I know he is.
Good luck to him.
But I also went around to see the current member, and she said she was going to read the manifesto and give me a ring, and I still haven't heard. But I'm not an electorate. Sorry?
That's Sabine Winton. We should follow up on that. Okay.
You reckon I should follow up on it?
Yeah, she's a teacher, so she might
Yes,
not.
I heard
might
that.
yeah.
But she didn't ask for any form. She just said she was.
We've
So-
sent one to all members of parliament anyway, so she should have read it.
So you reckon I should just ring her up and ask her what she thinks?
Yep,
Okay.
I do. You've already done one MP visit, Howard. You're an expert now.
Oh yeah, right. No, I've seen MPs a bit in a previous life.
Sarah, I have another question.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about small businesses, and I'm thinking about some of like my work intersects with local government and chambers of commerce.
Yeah.
And I suppose I'm wondering, is there a more systemic way of also getting chambers of commerce to get involved? Because we know businesses experience the impact of mental ill health, you know, in community and in central business districts. And I've just got me thinking, like, I'm confident that the Fremantle Chamber of Commerce chair, her name slips my mind, would be keen to potentially support, you know, the petition going out to businesses in Fremantle, because she's committed, you know, to recognizing that we need more services and support in the prevention space.
Yeah, I love that so much. Let's take that offline, because that's not a door knocking thing. That's a strategy thing. You and I can talk about that. I love that so much. But if you want to run with that, I would love that. And so that's, you know, this campaign is me and Aidan. So if anyone has ideas like that, we are doing everything that we can, and we would love so much for other people to pick up on this, because that's the whole idea of a movement of campaigning, is that it can't just be two people doing everything. Otherwise, nothing would get done. And I'm really interested to hear more about your campaign, Julie, and what you guys are doing over there. Is it similar to the asks that we're asking about? Are you aware of our campaign?
I am now, but I hadn't been before. But no, this is a door knocking project that's asking people about mental health and social emotional well-being, and it's a survey.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's there's quite a lengthy survey, but it's about going to areas where we're trying to determine unmet need.
Wow. Awesome.
So yeah, looking at, you know, socially disadvantaged areas, or areas that we think are not linked in with services, or where maybe there's a high percentage of different cultural groups.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so it's super interesting. 24 sites around Australia, but of course it's been on hold this year, so it's starting to pick up again now.
Do you know if there's one in WA?
Yeah, so it's a 3-year project. It's one project that's going to go to, it will employ people through local agencies to be what we're calling the people connectors. And they'll be the people who go out with the iPad and have the conversations, but taking community members with them.
Yeah, awesome.
To, you know, build on it. So yeah, three-year Commonwealth project.
That's amazing. I'm going to look into that.
And in Western Australia, sorry, I've got my camera off because my connection keeps dropping out, so I do apologize. So just adding on that, for in Western Australia, we're doing Karawara. We're coming into that community.
Cool.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to send you more details when we commence the door knocking.
Yeah. So we do link in with local communities and local agencies and do all that preparation work before we actually start door knocking, and get local community members engaged with the project at the same time. So when we're in Homebush, which is, you know, Burwood and Homebush, which are sort of inner west inner city of Sydney, there's a large Chinese population and Korean population. So we took Korean and Chinese speaking people with us.
Awesome. That sounds like something we should do here.
It's big. It's a big project.
Yeah, right.
It'll be interesting to see the results that come out after 3 years. But part of it is to also advocate for services that are, you know, not available on the ground, you know, around mental health and social emotional well-being.
Yeah, love it. Love it. All right, so I'm just going to spend the last 15 minutes trying to identify where people live and establishing your door knock teams. So let's start with you, Leela.
Before
Just
you go,
before you do that, oh,
I'm sorry, can I just say thank you very much? This has been very informative, but it's like nearly 10 o'clock at night here, so I'm off to bed.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Same here. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Good luck with it.
thank you.
Bye-bye.
Just before we do that, Sarah, I just wanted to have another quick little question around door knocking. Are we thinking of leaving sorry we missed you cards?
No, I think that's the kind of thing. It's difficult because that means you need to have 2 flyers. So I think for us, we're not a rich political party that can afford to have 2 separate flyers. I think it's a discussion we'll have, but I don't know. What do other people think? It just means carrying 2 piles of separate flyers.
I feel like if the standard flyer is descriptive enough, then they'll get that. You know, potentially we could leave it on the door and it's, you know, prevent, support, heal, get involved in the campaign. It's
Yeah. And we are going to localize the flyers as well. So for people, so we are focusing in that Peel region, Dawesville, Mandurah, Rockingham, Kwinana. So we'll have specific flyers for that region. We'll also have a Northern Corridor flyer that's kind of Joondalup, Kingsley, Hillary's, because they're marginal seats. We'll also focus in Scarborough. And I think that's about it. If you're not in those areas, you'll just take the generic flyer. Yeah, and it will have, you know, what the campaign. We've already got it. It's the A5 flyer that we've already made. Or yeah, we might have another look at it because it might be a bit old. So anyway, I was going to talk about. Oh, there we go. Aidan's got it. Yeah. Starting your door knock teams. So, and helping you build your door knock team, working out where you live and seeing if we can start. So what we really like to do is Aidan is going to be out from the 4th of January and he is going to be helping you door knock, walking up and down your high street. I think that week of the 4th, that first week back, will be businesses in those key electorates. So Rockingham, Kwinana, Mandurah. If you want a road trip with Aidan, jump in the car with him, collect signatures, that kind of stuff. Then we can start doing some door knocking and leafleting in your area or in those marginal areas. So if it's all right, can we work out where people live and if they want to establish a door knock team in their area?
I feel a little redundant because I'm in Minister McGurk's safe Labor seat. You know, like I can get heaps of signatures, but it's so far not a marginal seat.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I work full time. So getting out to marginal seats would take quite a bit.
Yeah. So probably the closest one for you would be Scarborough.
Ugh, sorry.
I don't think anyone.
What I'm going to do is I'm just going to end the recording here as well. So
Okay.
if anyone's following along on YouTube, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions about the campaign, please don't hesitate to let us know, get in contact. And if you want to start up your own door knock team, contact us and we'll give you all the resources that you need.